Hello, February 18th, no, 19th, 2025. Sold Up Nick here. Welcome to myself and whoever is here. Gonna do a little bit more mirror work. And I was gonna work on my playlist a little bit, but maybe do a little bit of this first. Seeing myself in the light of day. The rain has stopped here. Here in the woods at Belcara. And yeah, it's already been a full day. I was up since 2 a.m. Made some videos, made my first version of the mirror work, and then actually rested a little bit, meditated with some Alex Hormozi interview with Diary of a CEO and just letting that sink and percolate in the background. And then doing a little bit of meditation and then having a call with Judy and really getting clear this upcoming weekend. We've got the unconventional. So we'll be doing some live breath. I've got an hour to really dial it in, and I'm excited about that and nervous about it too. I started making the playlist now, and I don't know how it's going to go. And I'm reminding myself that with the work, with the preparation, with all of this, there's a lot of belief in me. And instead of thinking, oh, that's false belief, actually sitting with it and owning it. If people are seeing something in me, I'm going to practice letting that be a reflection. Because I look up to Judy, I look up to Brent, and both of them are wanting to collaborate with me. I look up to Marika and Matt, although they're more my founders and more equal. And so letting this actually evolve, whether it's the creation of the retreats, the online breaths, the in-person breaths, learning about how sound and music could be better played in with the breath and how to collaborate, how to lead that component while someone else is leading the sound component. That'd be really cool, especially for a large group. And this may be something, as I'm just saying it out loud, that could be led underneath the pyramid eventually at Burning Man next year. So that could be a target by next year. We actually have some kind of event spectacle there. And I'm reminding, as I say that, I say spectacle because there's a part of me that still wants to create spectacles, wants to be noticed, wants to be seen. So I have that dichotomy, that paradox. Both I am terrified of being seen and I want to be seen. And maybe that's the difference between the eyes. Like, oh, double lid wants to be seen. Single lid's like, oh, let's run away. What is that difference? What's accounting for it? I don't have anything else that I can see. I don't know of any major injury, although I did run into, I think it's actually on this side. I have no idea. I have no idea which side it is. I ran into in Zellers, where the lowest price is the law. I ran into one of those things that holds up clothes. My brother and I were chasing each other and ran into it so hard I didn't realize I was bleeding and needed to get stitches. Like some passerby was like, you're bleeding, kid. I was like, oh. And this would have been shortly after we went to PEI, because it was on PEI and down in the mall downtown. And I was probably somewhere between 7 and 10 years old then. So yeah, is there an injury there that's caused this? Or is this going to resolve as I continue on with diet, with changes in life, with changes in being? I don't know. Just drinking some beet juice, carrot juice, and apples. Biodynamic, and organic. And so today as well, I worked with some Hape medicine to clear. I had a lot of energy, a lot of anxiety after I sent this email off with some of me rambling and sharing and trying to clear the air with some friends. And so just noticing that there's energy there and practicing letting it go. It's done. It's done on this side. And so whatever evolves, revolves, involves is just going to. Hold it with lightness. Hold it with as little attachment to the outcome as possible. And that's part of it, is my own attachment to outcome. Sometimes I am so attached that it's hard to get started. And I'm just putting some things away as I do this, because again, I'm reminding myself, as I do that, thank you, Cosmos, through the body, that I'm doing this for me. That's why I can do this in the middle of the car, and not be like, oh man, this isn't the ideal filming environment. I should be walking around. I should be having clear things. I shouldn't be burping. Just finished watching Four Weddings and a Funeral. I've always meant to, and I probably, now that I think about it, have actually watched it before. And yeah, it's probably seeped in my memory. I thought it was Gina Davis. It's Andie MacDowell. Both of them are white women that I was like, oh my God, they're lovely. They're lovely. And it's so funny. It's a reminder of my childhood. It's leaving Prime. And it's so funny we've gotten to this place, right? All these streaming services. And I remember in university, we actually hit the pinnacle of freedom as not a consumer, freedom as a distribution source for the internet, where it felt like I could get access to anything, anytime. I had so many movies that I had access to. And now it seems like it's actually harder to get access to things. There's so many different services, so many subscriptions, so many ways that it feels like, oh, if I don't make the most of this, I am wasting it. And I'm reminding myself to let that go. And even the watching of that movie, part of it was because it's like, I gotta watch it before it leaves. And how do I let go of that energy? Because is that the thing that I really wanted to see the most? And then there's a part that, that beautiful scene, and it can be a total spoiler at the end, where it's like, do you want to choose this for the rest of your life? That's probably one of the greatest gifts of marriage, is its commitment. And we just did commitment versus, or commitment. It's really stepping into a container. And I recognize that, what is it now, to this year is 7 years. So grateful for it, so challenged by it. And now having a son, even greater commitment. And really it's saying, I do to life. I do to life. I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I do appreciate Aubrey's phrase, and he's got so much more clarity and warrior spirit. It's like, I'm all in for all life, I think he said. And it's not an easy stance to hold in some ways. It's funny as I say that, I'm like, I hear my own words. I'm like, oh wow, there's still some really set beliefs that I have. It's not an easy stance to hold. It's not like it's a hard stance, all in for all life, right? But it feels like it's not easy. I'm reading about new, sonic warheads or something else like this. There's all these different things that are changing this world. And it feels like we're on the brink of a possible recession, but who knows? All of these things, it's one giant game. And how to play the game better, I don't have a clear vision on that. I really don't. Do I put some stop loss orders in? Perhaps that's the way. Perhaps it's putting in some stop loss orders at least. Yeah. Perhaps it's putting in some stop loss orders. There's the part of me, and this is the greed part, that's like, I don't want to, because I don't want to lose out on the possible upside. I want to keep winning, and I want it to be easy. And I forget sometimes that easy can come in many, many different forms. And then there's the fear that if everything's collapsing, will no one want to do the thing that we're wanting to do? Or are we being overambitious? And I'm reminding myself, out of the ashes grew so many things. Out of 2008, a lot of it grew. SpaceX grew out of the .com bust, and then the 2008 bust. And they were on the precipice of demise. And here, I'm not on the precipice of demise, so to speak. Actually, there's so many possibilities right now. And just feeling the tightness in the chest, just feeling the angst, the scared. Yeah. Getting out of the regular market and more into the crypto world may make a lot of sense. And it may not. It's not about chasing. It's not about chasing. I invested in psychedelic stocks for a while, and they totally tumbled. And it was before its time. And it's such a tricky place to navigate profit and capitalism and doing good and juggling all the balls if you try to juggle all the balls. And so right now it's being really clear, what are the target demographics we want? What's the target audience we want? What is the target thing we're trying to create? We're trying to create something that's bespoke, something that's personalized, something that is involved, something that's in depth, and something that is more than just sustainable. I don't want to race to the bottom. And I remember that video 5 years ago now, 6 years ago now, 2019, Stealing Fire, I can't remember his name, but he was like, yeah, with all these new practitioners coming online, they're going to race to the bottom. And it's not that I don't think the donation model and sliding scales are a bad idea. Rather, I am not sure the energy around them really serves yet. And I've tried it myself. And maybe it's my energy around it doesn't serve yet. That's what I can own. I can't own everyone else's. I'm not here to, and that's just it. How do I practice not judging everyone else as a space to practice holding so that we actually have less judgment, whether someone's doing one way or another. Even people I've worked with before, I'm like, oh my God, I'm jealous of where they're at, and I'm not jealous. I am trying to create things in my way, and there will be partnerships that work, and it's continuing to pull back is the word that want to come out, and it's to draw near the people that are the most committed. Right now, it's my beloved family and my founders, and say, okay, how are we doing this? And then extending it to people like Brent and Judy who want to collaborate and saying, okay, how can we start collaborating? And let's not rush it. Let's play with what's there. Some of it's, there's been so much volunteer work, so to speak. And I'm grateful that we're able to do it. And it'll be something to highlight at some point. I'm still doing this. Like, it's not exclusive. And the inclusivity, if I only focus on that for me right now, it's not going to serve. It's me stepping into my power. And I was judging, I can't remember who it was that came up. It's like, I want to coach. And then Dr. Demartini is like, well, you have zero evidence for that. You have zero evidence for one to actually be a paid coach. And if you're not being a paid coach and you're saying that you actually need the money, then are you actually doing the thing? Without the sustainable fair exchange, it doesn't have to be money, but sustainable fair exchange, then are you actually making the impact you want to make? And that's part of it for me, is actually creating the space for real sustainable fair exchange as I see it right now. Let go. I'm letting go because every one of my coaches, I've made it more challenging than for them to work with me in a way. And how do I let it go and keep coming back to the questions? The question for me is, what do you see in me? What are the shadows? What are the blocks that you see? And in our work together, it's open. It's open season, so to speak. And it's my work to be able to say, okay, pause, that's enough for right now. How do I actually practice this and embody this? And part of it for me is embodying right now the different archetypes, the warrior, the king, the magician, the lover, to work on that root chakra. That's where I see the lover right now for me. To work on that solar plexus, the warrior for me. To work on that heart chakra, the king for me. And to work on that throat chakra, the magician for me. And maybe it's because it's above the throat chakra. It's actually between the throat and the third eye is the magician, and between the heart and the throat chakra for the king. And today, just trusting my beloved's in the middle of going through her work as well. And we're navigating, we're weaving, and my practice is to acknowledge the deep work she's doing this year. Of everything, she is doing such deep work in her healing and in her journey for the family, and so am I. We're trying to actually bring together our values and see how we elevate each other. And I feel more than ever we're becoming more aligned. We're being honest with where we're at, the energies that are there, the energies that are not there right now, at least in this physical reality. We can have it in our dreams, we can have it in our ceremonies, we can have it in the altered states of consciousness. And then it's grounding it back into this physical body. And I'm looking, I've got access to some sugar here and reminding myself, let it go. I actually just had some chips. probably not the ideal for my diet, and I felt called to have a few, and I didn't enjoy them as thoroughly as I could have. I was going one after another, and it's still a practice. How do I take a pause in between each? What a great burp. Love the bodily functions. Love the burping, love the farting. Love the little birdies that are flying around outside. Drinking mostly beets here, and beets apparently is part of what I need to bow to heal. And it's funny, one of my new sister-in-laws is her name's Bo. And I'm thinking Bo in Chinese means almost like to heal, to bring in strength, bring in energy, and I can see her bring that to her relationship. I'm just looking at all my clothes. They're really designed for the weather, for wet climates, for being outdoors, for being practical. And I'm excited that we'll be doing more traveling soon. I can feel that energy moving in. It is like kind of like the thunderstorm that's kind of moving in. It was really windy here last night, probably shifted a lot. There's gonna be some heavy rains coming up, and embracing that. And then yesterday noticing, I forgot to take some time just to relax in between, because I was so busy going from dropping off at school to having my call with Brent to coming home to play date to home to dinner to juicing, that I started getting a pinch in my neck. I started getting tired. I started getting grumpy, and it was just such an abrupt change for my family that it really threw off my beloved. And I forgot to ask for just a few minutes, and that's what I did before I drove out here today. I was like, I just need a few minutes for meditation, and it was perfect. I was like, okay, that's all I needed. I needed 10 minutes to myself. And I do want that again. So I'm going to close this up. I'm going to drive back for pickup. I'm going to do a little 10-minute meditation and have just a wonderful afternoon. I'm really grateful for this mirror work. I'm grateful for the recordings, and I'm looking forward to creating more of this. Ciao for now.